Mistake number 7, simplifying to an endgame which is not winning. Everybody doing this. I am included, every grandmaster in the world included, every single player included, good player, weak player, very strong player, it is included. Why? Because it deals with psychology. Let me first showing you some examples, and at the end of this video I will tell you how to get rid of this idea, or maybe during the video we'll talk about that. So first one, white is almost 2350 and black is 2100, about rating I'm talking. Here white played the appearingly winning move. It appears to be winning, which is queen d8. It was a bad move. He was 2350, very strong player, and he just lost the advantage. Imagine. First of all, there's a psychology here. Why? Because at this moment you probably in your 4th hour of playing, yeah, of your 4th hour of consuming energy, so you don't have that much of energy and you want things to get over, yeah, you need to finish him off, yeah. So here in this position it seems like winning, so I will play it because it seems winning. Again, focus, it seems. Queen d8 for sure is the best move, but after queen d8, king d8, now king f4, and white thought he's winning, and indeed he looks like winning, but the problem is you are not winning. One of the reasons why white is not winning, because the remaining pawns will be the a pawns, and this is most likely draw. So after a4, a5, very important move, and f4, trying to exchange these pawns. Yes, this is going to be taken, but if you take it, like if white played now king g5, it's not winning, because after king g7, whenever you take, I go king f6. And now king g4, I will stick here, because this pawn can never be queen. So the only idea for white is to go for the other pawn, but as it is a rook 1, it's not easy. I mean, it's actually a draw. Why? Because remember, if this king able to reach c8 square, this pawn cannot be queen. Only c8 square. This is the only thing that you need to calculate. And the other way around for the f8, as we will see. So simply I calculated, and it's easy calculated, yeah, because it's just you go, I go, you play up, this, that, and it's just a draw. Because now if you go king e7, then I can go king c7. And in order to improve the pawn, you need to move away the king, and if you move away the king, then my king will go back to the corner, and it's just a draw. White saw this, and he tried going for the other pawn, but it doesn't work. As king g6 is played, and now very interesting move after king d5 is king f6. It's not going for after this pawn and try to go for the race. Probably will work, but I find an idea, so why to find a new one, yeah? Simply king here, and again, the same story. If you try to win, I mean, here actually cannot even try to win. Okay, you can go for this pawn, but again, the same story. Like king a6, you go, I go, 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 and again, it's a draw. So back from the beginning, queen d8 was not the best move. But why queen d8 is played? Because white was lazy not to calculate. Here if white calculated and played the simple move, queen c6, then he's completely winning. The only things that he needs to calculate, or one of the things that he needs to calculate, is this check. There's another one as well. But there's king e3, and now the only remaining check is queen h3, but then simply f3. And after queen c8, queen takes g6. Let me tell you something here, because focus here, yeah, focus here, because if you get this right, then you get 80% of this video, yeah? The remaining is important, but not that important. So, if you are not, this is very important, yeah? Here, if I ask you who's better, it's easy. White is better. If you are better in an endgame, and you are about to play a very decisive or very big liquidation, simplifying decision. If you are not 100% sure, don't do it. So here, if you're white, okay, wait a second, like queen d8, I mean, let's calculate without moving pieces, like queen d8, c8, king d8, king f4, then king e7, king g5, king f7, and then f4, he will go king g7, f5, take, but then, am I faster than him or he is faster than me? Most likely you don't have that much of time here. So you don't have that much time even to accurately decide. That's why if you are better or winning, especially winning, and you are about to play a big decision, liquidate everything, if you are not 100% sure, don't play it. Because later on in the game, you will get more chances. Yeah? More, or at least clearer chances. I'm sure queen c8 is not the only move to win this game. Maybe something like queen c5, queen e5, whatever, like any protection of this pawn. Maybe queen c4 as well. Maybe, yeah, you need to calculate again. But whatever you play out of these three moves, maybe even queen a5, I don't know, you keep chances. You keep your chances alive, yeah? You keep the game alive. Let's see another example. Playing white 2200, playing black 2100. Actually, this mistake is not only about winning. This mistake is also about playing a game of chess. If you are not sure about the outcome, so then don't do it, because you might lose. Why to liquidate everything? For example, here in this position, white played 92. And he missed a very important resource for black. But again, after 92, rook takes d2. I mean, here it's clear that black can liquidate everything. Like rook d2, king d2, bishop e2, yeah? But what white missed was this very strong move, c4. And after c4, actually, black managed to win the game. So instead of that, simply you could go, instead of 92, simply king c3. I'm not forced to do anything. And after king c3, we'll see. Will I go knight e2 in a better version? So my king will be on c3, so I don't have c4. Or I won't do this. And in the game, actually, rook d2 played, and then after knight e2, king d2. Okay, actually, knight e2 will repeat the same position, but you're not forced to do even knight e2 next move. And now after improving the king, there's a problem with this position. And the problem with this position is not about my king being here, because probably the king will go to the a pawn. After king d4, g4 is played. Probably ideas like f5 maybe is faster. Like if you go king a4, probably f5. I am attacking here on e4, and I need to win with this pawn. Like if you take, I take, then e4, e3, e2. This is much faster. So after king d4, g4 is played, trying to stop f5. But in vain, because after king e3, king c4, the pawn is taken, and now simple move f5 is winning for black, and black or white resigned. Was white an amateur player? No, he's 2200 rated, yeah? So that's super important. One more example. Again, the same mistake. Here, white got an advantage. Why he got an advantage? Because he has the better bishop. He has a better pawn structure, as you can see, and a better bishop because of the pawn structure, and a connected. I wanted to say a connected passed pawn, yeah. Not connected. Sorry, supported. Yes, supported passed pawn. So that's actually an advantage in the ending. But here, white decided to play or to commit to a very liquidation decision. Bishop b4. That was a mistake. Luckily for black, or for white, his opponent did not manage to punish him, because he thought, okay, I'll go a5, and after a5, black assumed that white will take, and after I take, then I'll have this passer, and this king cannot stop both of them, while my king can stop these two. But actually that was a mistake, as white has this great move, c5. And the point being, if you take, I take, and this king cannot stop the pawn. How did you know? There is the square rule. Very quickly, you imagine diagonal. So this is another corner, and this is a corner, and this is a corner, and this is a square. If the king cannot touch any of the squares, if the king cannot touch actually the square, then the pawn cannot be stopped, yeah? So after b takes a5, if it's right, then a6, and then a7, and that's winning for white. So after c5, a4 is tried. Okay, you will have a queen, I will have a queen. But the point is, I do have better pawns, and white managed at the end of the day to win the game. However, after bishop b4, a4, black here has had a great move, which is a6. The point of a6 is to stop b5, as if king e7 is played, then the best move for white is b5. b5 is to cancel one of these pawns. And slowly we'll find a good time to go for d6. It's not easy, but this is probably one of the ideas, or maybe even c5. King d4, c5 at the best moment, yeah? However, what happened in the game was a5, and white luckily managed to win the game. Again, what should I do? Shall I go for the, am I 100% sure? No, I'm not 100% sure. My position is great. Yes, he's an extra pawn, but it's a doubled one. So maybe I'll consider a4. I'm not sure. Maybe I'll consider it, yeah? That's why don't go for committal decision that early. I mean by that early, if you are not forced to. If you are not 100% sure that you're winning. Here, sometimes you don't have choices, yeah? Sometimes you don't have choices, as in this position. Next move, move, for white is queen takes e1. Whenever you don't have choices to go for the liquidation and it's forced for you, try to pick or not to pick, try to focus the most. For example, I get angry with my students in such positions. Why? Because here, my student, for example, had 10 minutes, say, and he thought for 2 minutes and play his move, and lost or win the game, it doesn't matter. Like, especially if he or she lost, yeah? Then this is the most important critical moment in the game. After that, your time is useless. You cannot use your time after this. So here you need to think for, if you have 10 minutes, you need to think for about 7 minutes. If you think even for 9 minutes, that's fine. Especially if there's increment. There's no increment, 7 minutes. So here, black played king g5, which was the bad move. King e5 had a better chance to draw after king g5. Simply the king is away of this guy. Queen takes e1, rook takes e1, king takes e1. King f4 tried to reach, but then king f2 first. h4 and then a4, king e5. b4 was a mistake. a5 was a better one. Anyways, I don't want to make this video too complicated. But after b4, here the best move for black was c5. He didn't manage to find it and played king d6. And now after king d6, a5 was winning, but king e3 was a bad move. I mean, here you need to calculate, yeah? It's very important to calculate to find the best move, whether it's a5 or not. So here king e3 is played, and now after king e3 is simply c5, and black managed to draw the game. Because if you go b5, you might risk losing it, yeah? Because after c4, king e4, maybe g3, yeah? So that's why after c5, b takes c5, king c5, and then white will go to win this pawn, probably g3, take, and then king b4, and then take, and it will be, at the end of the day, an easy draw. So finally, again, I repeat, why every single player doing this? Either very strong or very weak. It doesn't matter. Watch out their games. Yeah, you will find this mistake very frequent. Yeah. So the point is, we play a very long game, 3 hours more maybe. Like probably if it's a big decision to liquidate everything, maybe we are talking about plus 40 moves, yeah, 40, 50, 60 moves you already played. So you already calculated that much. You don't have that much of energy. So you tend, you have that psychological tendency to finish everything and to go home, yeah? Okay, I am done with calculation. Now let's just decide or take the final decision. Always watch out for the final decisions that you don't have a comeback or a way back after that decision, you know? So if you are winning and you are not 100% sure, do not do it. If you are not winning, I recommend you not to do it. Or if you are 100% sure again of the outcome, probably it's a draw, yeah? But if you're not sure, don't do it. Why to liquidate everything and then go for a pawn endings? And then I don't have choices. I don't have ways to fight. Because if you have pieces and you made a mistake, you have 2 chances. The first chance, or you have too many chances. The first thing, that your opponent needs more time and more energy to win. And that means a mistake might happen. And you might even win. You might create some counter chances here or there or here, yeah? Your opponent needs to suffer more. But if you take that final decision, okay, I'll exchange everything. And then nothing you can do. Like everything is out of your hands anymore. You cannot calculate anything. You can do nothing. You just watch what is going to do as if you are not the responsible player for the moves. I hope that makes sense. This is, guys, the mistake number 7. This is a very great book. I recommend it very much. And already we discussed the first 6 in this series. You will find it on your left. I recommend you going there and watch it one by one, because you will learn a lot of things that you are doing, a lot of mistakes that you are doing subconsciously, and it's easily can be avoided. Thanks for watching. See you soon. Have a nice one.